Since the release of Geometry Wars in 2005 on the Xbox Live Arcade, the twin-stick shooter genre has enjoyed a somewhat prolonged revival. Still operating on the core tenets set by genre landmarks like Robotron 2084 and Smash TV, Assault Android Cactus from developer Witchbeam adds a few new angles with 4-player co-op, multiple characters, and an obvious inspiration taken from the danmaku, or bullet hell style of shooters popular in Tokyo arcades. In Assault Android Cactus, you are able to choose from an initial roster of 4 different characters, each with their own unique set of weaponry. The differences may seem cosmetic at first, but each character is tuned to a very specific kind of playstyle. For instance, the game's namesake, Cactus, is suited for mid to long range combat, dealing moderate damage with a moderate rate of fire. On the other hand, there's Coral, who with her shotgun and plasma dome ability is clearly meant to be up close and personal, dealing out high damage with a low rate of fire. These differences become important for 2 reasons. Much like the bullet hell shooter's Cactus takes a page from, your chief motivator for performing well is score. The best and really only way to achieve a high score means making careful use of the game's chain mechanic. Avoid death and maintain a fresh pile of dead robots, and your final score and letter ranking will skyrocket. Additionally, each of the arenas in Assault Android Cactus change and morph over the course of their duration. Walls give way to bottomless pits, giant spinning lasers fire over rotating sections of the floor, and a careening cargo platform swings wildly in different directions. Picking a character that can handle the changing environments, keep the chain going, and avoid the screen-filling curtain of bullets is very important. Assault Android Cactus is a highly polished, tightly constructed shooter with a lot of potent classic influences and plenty of room to grow once the retail version is complete. Assault Android Cactus is currently available on Steam Early Access and is planned for release in August of 2014. So Ashley, this time we're taking a look at Assault Android Cactus. Right?
Yes.
And this isn't a review of the game this time. We haven't really spent that much time with it. It's more of an impression of the game. Normally twin-stick shooters tend to be more skill-based. They're very technical or they require a lot on the part of the player to either memorize the level or memorize and be very familiar with the mechanics of the game to score big. And like any other twin-stick shooter, score is the thing to get in Assault Android Cactus.
Yeah.
By the way, Assault Android Cactus is an early access game. It isn't finished, so there may be more content to come. I'm not entirely sure what their plans are for the game as far as adding more into it. So what'd you think of it?
I liked it. I really liked the way it looked. It was really fun, but it was kind of not for me.
How's that?
I died a lot, and like by a lot I meant like a lot more than is fun for me. I really liked like the different characters. I like the different weapons and how each weapon is just like slightly different, so you can really find the character that works for you.
Right.
But I still felt after trying 3 characters?
3 or 4.
3 or 4, I didn't care for any of them really.
Right. I mean, you said you died a lot, so
I died a lot, but I don't know how I could have not died as much. Like I felt like I was doing pretty good for myself. And
so you think the game is just sort of overwhelmingly difficult for you?
Yeah, it just was too much.
To the point where like you can't see necessarily a way to improve other than to just be better.
Right. I mean, I'll play it again.
Right.
I liked especially playing with you. I liked the progression of the level, how it just kind of like sometimes it like morphs, sometimes it like drops.
Some of them morph, some of them either change elevation, some of them move. The game, for me, the game is actually really fun. I enjoy pretty much any twin-stick shooter. It's a very simple kind of game. It's a very rewarding type of game in that you're shooting a lot of stuff and a lot of things are blowing up. But Assault Android Cactus gets really busy, visually very busy, to the point where you're not even entirely sure where you are.
No.
On the screen.
Yeah.
You just see a mess of robots and a mess of blue bullets and hopefully one of those lasers is yours.
Yeah.
I think the game is challenging without being overly punitive in that dying is not the end of your game, but dying too much will be the end of your game eventually with how the mechanics in the game work.
Yeah. I did find that really interesting.
Yeah.
And I liked that part of it, which is why I kept playing.
Sort of taking death, not taking it out of the equation, but it's not the end.
It's a punishment, not a death.
Right.
Like, I liked that.
And even for someone like me, the gamer, whatever, I'm actually I was wowed by how busy and how dense and how rapidly difficult those stages can become past the initial kind of 5 beginner areas. So, I mean, would you play it again? Would you like to see more of the game?
I would. I definitely want to try more. I like the boss fight that we did.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would like stick with it.
It seems like the difficulty curve on the game goes up fast and only continues to go up from there. So I could see this becoming something where it's not even like you're dying too much. It's like you're just constantly dead.
Right.
Assault Android Cactus right now is $15 on Steam. It's early access, so it'll go up once the game releases, probably to $20. It's a thoroughly competent, thoroughly fun. I like the soundtrack in that game a lot. I like the characters. They all have kind of their fun little personalities. It's a very well put together game. Just might be a little too tough. For
me,
the less skilled players or people who aren't used to playing a game that's that sort of twitchy and intense. Mercenary Kings is a side-scrolling run-and-gun shooter. It is thoroughly taking several pages from Metal Slug, from Contra. It wears its influences like on its sleeve, on its pants, on its face, on its head.